Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter Tarnia Green. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Among the major developments, Prime Minister Skerrit confirms that the Yes We Care program will be a fixture in this year's budget. Government reports spending millions of dollars over the last 2 years on water projects across the country, and the Ministry of Education promotes early screening and diagnosis of students as part of the Education Enhancement Project. Join me as I bring you the details of these and other stories when National Focus returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has given a commitment that the Yes We Care program will remain central as government moves forward with its social protection programs. The Yes We Care program, a bold initiative of the Roosevelt Skerrit administration, provides personal care and attention to elderly people, particularly those who are alone or whose family is unable to provide for them because of poverty, sickness, or unemployment. Prime Minister Skerrit told a contract signing ceremony of the Ben's water supply earlier this week that the 2012 budget will reflect government's continued desire to provide assistance to people who are poor and disadvantaged.
When we go and visit the people, we have to reach out to them in a tangible way, in order for them to make back and to come back on their feet and live decent lives. That's what we've done. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars responding to disasters by helping people replace their beds, replace their clothes, replace their furniture, so that they can live a comfortable life. There were several hundreds of people, all elderly, who were suffering. Nobody to cook for them, nobody to wash their clothes for them, nobody to bathe them. Nobody to provide water and lights at their homes or to give them free medication. The government is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to provide a service and to tell our senior citizens, yes, somebody cares. Yes, this Labour Party government cares for you and for your well-being. And we've been spending monies on that. And we give a commitment in the 2012 budget that the Yes We Care program will be central to moving forward.
The Yes We Care program is in keeping with the government's strategy for social protection and poverty reduction as set out in its growth and social protection strategy approved by Cabinet in 2006 and updated in 2008 under the theme Leveraging Sustained Growth. In more news, Honourable Kelva Daru, Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, speaking at a recent crime, violence and anti-social meeting, stated that people need to understand the basic concept of respecting others' property.
I want to also stress on the issue of respect for people and people's property. That is important. Too many times we believe that we can do what we want, where we want, how we want. But that is not so. We have to learn to respect people's property and what people have worked hard for. The farmers, they go to their farms and they work very hard to ensure that they can have their produce. And then we have persons who have not done a day's work going to and reap what they have not sown. And that has to stop. We have some businesses here in this community and environs where these persons have worked hard to sustain their businesses and to provide some level of economic benefit for themselves and their families. And we have some persons who will go out there and destroy and tarnish these persons' businesses. This has to stop. And it takes a community effort to do that. And that is why I'm very happy that the police is playing a very integral role in this whole program. Because we have to also look, and I'm sure the Chief of Police will mention it when he speaks about community policing. So these are some of the things that we have to look at, my dear friends.
And Minister for National Security, Honourable Charles Savran, believes that parents are the biggest examples in a child's life. He says that their actions, whether negative or positive, leave lasting impressions on those children.
If you, as a parent, are engaged in all sorts of anti-social behavior, you are in fact training, counseling, teaching your children to emulate you and to do what they see you doing. So that you cannot say, do as I say, but not as I do. Maybe that used to work a long time ago, but I can tell you it does not work now.
The minister stated that persons coming forward with information regarding crimes is about protecting themselves and their families, even if that person was not the victim.
We need to understand that very clearly. It's not a question, oh, you sell out or whatever. It is that you're acting in defense and protection of yourself and in defense and protection of your family and therefore of your community. Now, I believe that if people in any community know for a fact that anybody who sees them or hears about them doing or committing any crime will report that fact to the police, there will be less crime in our society. Because criminals imagine they can get away. If they are satisfied that they cannot get away, they will be less likely to commit a criminal act.
Honorable Ian Douglas, Minister of Tourism, says that government cannot do it alone. When people turn a blind eye to crime within their communities, it only grows and gets out of control.
No matter how much systems that government put in place, no matter how much money that we spend on security in Dominica, no matter how much the police put out their best efforts, without the cooperation and the collaboration of the people on the ground, because in any given community, you are the ones who live at your homes, you are the ones who live in the communities, you are the ones who know the characters. And funny enough, you will realize, throughout Dominica, I have noticed, and in my legal practice, I have noticed, that the people who break the law, the criminals, and those who are bent on bad behavior are in the minority, you know. With a small group of persons, you know, all the time doing that. But because we in the community never stand up and stand out against them and confront them as a community and tell them what they're doing is wrong and make the information known to the persons and in the places where some kind of action can be taken, for example, giving the police the information, then the situation grows and gets out of control.
Acting Police Chief Daniel Carbon addressed the matter of citizens remaining tight-lipped on the issue of crime.
We do not want our beautiful island to be like our neighbors. I must tell you though that we, the police, we have been managing and dealing with our criminal activity. I know we can do more. Over the years, all of a sudden, I've noticed that the citizens of this country do not want to talk as it relates to criminal activity. They're reluctant in sharing information with the police. And there are a lot of excuses. There are a lot of excuses. You'll hear all sorts of reasons about confidentiality and possible, well, some fear reprisal attacks. But the question is, can we allow this country to go down the road with criminal activity? The law-abiding citizens of this country are always in the majority, and the criminals are always in the minority. How can you, the majority, allow the minority to dictate the pace to you as it relates to your own security and your own safety? So you must speak. When the avenue comes for you to speak, you must speak. Speak about your security, speak about your safety. That is very important.
In related news, Dominica's ambassador to the United Nations, Honorable Vince Henderson, says any excuse for criminal behavior is unacceptable.
Seeking to provide excuses for people by talking about idleness and unemployment are just simply making excuses for criminal behavior. ,90% of the people here knew me when I was growing up. I grew up under difficult circumstances. I had one pants going to ITSS. I ironed it in the morning, I washed it in the afternoon. I never pulled anybody thing. I never hashed anybody. The majority of our people themselves have their own difficulties. We work hard, we try our best, and we live good lives.
In more news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has expressed profound gratitude to the people of Dominica who have stood by the Dominica Labour Party government during its time of economic challenges. The Prime Minister says his government, as other governments in the region, a few years ago, had to implement a debt restructuring program in order to meet its debt obligations. Back in 2002, the government, led by Honorable Pierre Charles, embarked on a program of fiscal stabilization and adjustment in an effort to close the gap between revenue and expenditure. Prime Minister Skerrit says this action warranted the understanding of the populace, and his government is grateful for the support and understanding of citizens during that time of restructuring.
We have to go through the same challenge. Between 2000 and 2006, imposing taxes on the people of Dominica, cutting expenditure, because we found ourselves in a situation where we couldn't have paid our salaries to public officers on time. And we told you, if you give us that support, if you are understanding, if you're patient, and you allow those measures to be implemented, that we will one day see light at the end of the tunnel. And we want to thank you, continuously thank you, for standing and sticking by the government and allowing the government to implement those measures, which today we're seeing the benefits of those measures implemented back between 2002 and 2006.
On the issue of the management of the economy, the Prime Minister said his government continues to manage it in a prudent and efficient manner.
We continue to manage the resources of the state in a prudent and responsible manner. We have been responsive to the needs of Dominicans because the government has no business building homes and fixing anybody's homes. But because we have a compassion and a love and understanding for the suffering people, we have spent millions of dollars helping residents of Dominica to improve their housing condition.
The Prime Minister, in his remarks, also spoke of government's achievements in the area of education and health. Every child succeeds. That's the new vision of the Ministry of Education. They are embracing and promoting that through an early screening and diagnosis workshop, which is part of the Education Enhancement Project. The workshop was a facet of a special education consultancy which began in October 2011 and will end this year. Chief Education Officer Stevenson Hyacinth was chairman of the early screening and diagnosis workshop held on Monday at the Public Service Training Center.
Even if we say that every child can learn, we recognize clearly that every child will learn at his or her pace and also at his or her rate. And it's important that we diagnose so that we can find out exactly where students are and what we need to do for them so that they can succeed.
Also at the workshop was Dawn Spencer Hernandez, who headed the consultancy. She gave an overview of the program.
Given the opportunity to examine the current provisions being made for special education, especially at the early childhood level. And in November when we came, we conducted focus groups, interviews, did some surveys, that teachers completed, and we got a pretty good insight as to what is happening in the Dominican situation when it comes to early screening and diagnosis of special needs. We are here now to primarily work with teachers and principals to share the results of that exercise that was conducted, to identify areas of strengths and weaknesses in the provisions for students with special education needs, and to present suggestions for the way forward. Now, the way forward is based on the findings that we gathered while we were here in November.
Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter St. Jean, further explained how the early screening and diagnostic process works.
The intention of that consultancy is to improve on the design of an effective early identification and intervention system, whereby children who are experiencing difficulties, both academic and behavioral, are identified and provided with services from the beginning of entry into the school. The consultants will also advise on the organizational structure of the special education unit so that all services are integrated and coordinated so as to provide quality service to every Dominican child. These include children with mild to severe mental challenges as a result of brain damage, children who are autistic, hearing and speech difficulties, children who are blind or with low vision, and those with specific learning disabilities, such as in reading and mathematics. And of course, there are those with physical challenges.
The project coordinator, Randolph Felix, used the workshop to report on other consultancies under the Education Enhancement Project.
As regards to the other consultancies which make up the Education Enhancement Project, I can report that notwithstanding the occasional bumps and the periods of concern, they are all at various stages of implementation. The Maintenance Policy and Plan consultancy is complete, and we now await the final report. In fact, I just had word this morning that the report will definitely be available come the 15th of July. The Early Screening and Diagnosis Consultancy, which is the one which we are it's all about here this afternoon, where I would say just about 3/4 way complete, and all things being equal, we expect to have the final report by October. The two remaining consultancies, the multigrade and the curriculum development consultancies, have only recently started, and already we have received the inception reports on both. In May, contracts were signed between the government of Dominica and the firm of EduNova Cooperative Limited, a consortium from Nova Scotia, Canada, in the sums of US $49,835,000 and US $53,745, respectively. The multigrade will run for 18 months, while the curriculum development consultancy is for a 2-year period. I can also report that the 43 teachers who are out on certificate, undergraduate, and postgraduate training have all done well. And during the course of the first term of the new academic year, we expect to welcome back into the classroom 6 of those teachers. 3 will be returning with certificates in cosmetology, 2 will be qualified at the master's level in counseling, and 1 qualified at the master's level in educational psychology. All the others will continue their training. We hope, of course, to have all of them back by June 2014.
According to the project coordinator, the objective of the Education Enhancement Project is the improvement of quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of basic education through enhancing the learning environment at primary and secondary schools. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, who represented Dominica at the CARICOM Heads of State meeting in St. Lucia last week, told GIS News that the global economic crisis was among the items on the agenda. Dominica's leader stated that each CARICOM country was evaluated in turn and suggestions made towards alleviating the economic worries.
We spent a lot of time as heads discussing each member state's challenges and to see what can we do together to ameliorate the situation confronting member states. Quite a few of the countries, as recognized, are having shortfalls in the budget financing. There has been an increase in unemployment in some countries, and therefore it's a concern to member states. So we spend a lot of time discussing this matter, the issue of job creation within the Caribbean. And also studied the global economy and to see what impact it is having on the region's economies. So clearly this is a major concern for us, and we have agreed to continue the discussions and to work out some solutions to some of the challenges confronting us, because clearly there's something that we may have to do together.
According to the Honorable Prime Minister, the leaders also discussed the state of crime in CARICOM countries and put forward ways of reducing criminal activity, both on land and at sea.
We have discussed the region's security. There continue to be concerns, and it has indicated to us our need to continue to working together as a region to fight in crime and criminal activities within our territories and within our waters. Because clearly no government can do it alone, no institution can do it alone. And we need the support of each of us to work together, and of course the support and the understanding of our developing partners to working together.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join Macpherson St. Louis for the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, qui a fait parole importance VAT 15%, qu'on est bien important lever l'argent pour courir payer là. Yon des jours avant budget là à présenter, Premier ministre Skerrit pas qu'à supporter parole opposition, manière yo ka dit gouvernement supposé lever l'argent pour courir payer là. Et des affaires pour gouvernement tirer VAT, c'est pas un bon mitin pour payer là. Quand même, et des affaires où le gouvernement mette VAT là, plusieurs années qui passent, c'est bien nécessaire pour l'économie pays là. Premier ministre a dit plusieurs pays ont la terre, c'est ni pour avancer VAT et puis taxes qu'on paye ailleurs, sinon globalisation, mais le gouvernement Dominique qui tient ça 15%. VAT venu en réalité en l'année 2006, et puis depuis tant cela, quand mène l'argent pour courir l'économie pays là. À notre nouvelle, mon communauté Hans Dime Benz Hampstead qui bénéficie d'un système de neuf. Il y a une cérémonie où la contracté signé pour commencer le projet là pour place à lundi semaine là. Le gouvernement Dominique a identifié un projet là et puis en priorité. Projet là qui voit un intake neuf et puis une facilité pour traiter de l'eau là. Assez live Hampstead qui est aussi ni un tank pour chemer de l'eau là. Projet là qui est fini, qu'a expecté pour soulager problème de l'eau monde communauté là qu'a expérimenté. Quand même si le general manager d'Owasco Bernard Etinoff, compagnie là connaît bien clair problème ces monde là, c'est ça qui fait yo te moi placer yon des pipes neuf qui te metti la cause des problèmes ça là. Etinoff qu'a gardé devant ou la système neuf ça là qui adresse problème communauté ça là qu'a expérimenté. En même temps aussi, le ministère pour management de l'eau, Honorable Reginald Ostream, fait parole que le projet neuf ça là, c'est commitment gouvernement Dominique, mener bon de l'eau potable pour toute communauté par l'année 2015. Mon parlement, Honorable Murphy Walter, qui a aussi bien supporté le projet Salam, où là il fait parole que le système neuf Salam, qui aide à éliminer le problème de l'eau, bah moun en wan Salam. Ministère de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, qui a fait parole que le ministre a mis plusieurs mesures en place pour adresser la éducation. Yon ti bagay la ki ka tape atensyon se zafè ou la étudiant l'école secondaire et puis State College Dominica ka quitté avant l'an sa ou kouye drop out. Et des ministres éducation qui tiennent investigation pour déterminer raison pour les étudiants qui ont quitté avant l'heure, même si attendent l'école secondaire. Honorable Saint-Jean fait parole qui ministre éducation qui a implémenté programme pour faire assurer que ces étudiants ça la taper succès. Honorable Saint-Jean aussi fait parole qui a concerné l'éducation des enfants, réparation l'école fait au primaire, sujet technical vocationnel pour étudiants, meilleur standard d'éducation pour teachers en parmi d'autres bagailles. Et puis, finalement, le gouvernement Dominica travaille bâtir des projets en communauté la Côte-d'Ouest. Si l'on a parole qui sorti, ces projets là, c'est pas gouvernement pour continuer et puis programme Révolution Caille. Quand même, si l'homme en parlement, Honorable Ambrose George, ces projets là qui aident à élever la situation de la Côte-d'Ouest et puis ça fait Caille. Honorable George était parlé pour commémorer fête la Côte-d'Ouest qui vient au bout la semaine passée. Et de tout plan bien avancé pour commencer ces projets-là avant l'année là qui vient au bout. Le gouvernement Dominica mettait plus d'attention à cette révolution caille pour pays là. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est Macpherson Saint-Louis. Au revoir.
Thank you, Macpherson. When we come back, we'll bring you a few upcoming events and government notices. Do stay tuned.
You're watching GIS.
Time now for the government notices. The Dominica State College announces the start of a City and Guilds Electrical Installation Diploma level course come September. The course will be held on Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Bathurst State Campus. Interested learners must register no later than July 31, 2012. For more information, you can call 440-3533 or 275-3659 or email continuing.education@dsc.edu.dm. You may also visit the Department of Continuing Education located at Bath Estate. And residents of Cochrane are invited to a community meeting on Thursday, July 12 at 5:30 p.m. at the Cochrane School building. The purpose of the meeting is to elect a new improvement committee to serve the community of Cochrane. Please make an effort to attend and to be on time. And the Ministry of Education wishes to inform the general public of its collection and distribution of textbooks for the 2012-2013 school year as follows. For students attending 5th form of the Portsmouth Secondary and the Dominica SDA Secondary School, you are asked to collect books on Thursday, July 12 from the JSP building located in Bath Estate from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. And for students attending 5th form from the Pierre Charles Secondary School and the Northeast Comprehensive School, you are asked to collect books on Friday, July 13 from the JSP building located in Bath Estate from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. Please be guided accordingly. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments, so please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm your presenter, Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for watching, and do remember to join us again tomorrow.